Hello, love. Inside Mentor Masterclass, one of the months we learn a coaching tool about how to help your clients find their life purpose. So I learned this coaching tool long ago in the beginning of my coach training program, and I actually discovered by going through this conversation model, I realized that my purpose actually is the way. Knowing my sense of purpose helped me to create the successful coaching business that I have now. So I want to tell you a little bit about that. So you're going to, if you decide to join Mentor Masterclass, you're going to learn this conversation model. And it's the exact thing that when I went through this conversation model, I started to see the connections in my life. And it's how I actually discovered my niche in coaching, which is to serve women who want to become life coaches and teach them the expert level tools and techniques to make the transition from best kept secret to sought after thought leader. And I realized that this was my niche. I'll tell you how. So it's a little bit of a vulnerable story, but most of you, if you've been hanging out with me, you've heard about this already. I grew up in Long Beach, California. Both of my parents were drug addicts, and it took a long time for them to seek recovery. They were in and out of relapse, but eventually both of my parents decided to join Narcotics Anonymous. So from the time I was basically 8 years, I think they started around 7 years old to 13 years old, my dad was consistently going to Narcotics Anonymous community meetings, and I would go with him 3 or 4 times a week to these meetings because he had commitments that kept him going and had built a community there. And I would go so much that I knew all the people in the rooms, and I also started to learn the material that they studied, that they read out loud, and they also had open sharing where they would share each night. So I heard a lot of stories about, I'm talking about hitting rock bottom, drug addictions, jails, institutions, and stories of death surrounding these people who were coming together to change their lives. And as I was thinking back on this, when I was going through this life purpose exercise that you'll learn inside Mentor Masterclass, I realized that at that time, what I was learning and what I was interested in, and what became part of my personality, was this passion and this belief that your life can be a hot mess. You can feel challenged. You can have a lack of resources, and with tools and techniques and community, you can rebuild your life and you can actually change your life and who you are. And I watched these people do this inside this room. And so it made me think, what if you were doing this, but you weren't at rock bottom? So I was thinking about myself now as I was starting to get older, and people always ask you that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And, I started to think, what if I had that? What if I put community, if I had community support, if I had tools and techniques that would help me work through whatever blocks I'm experiencing? And my dream was to be on Broadway. And I realized that it was a challenging career, and that I was going to have to deal with a lot of rejection, and I didn't have resources in my life. I didn't have money support to go to college or to get to New York. I had to work starting at age 13, so I didn't have a lot of the free time to just be perfecting talents like I noticed in other people. So I had to use a lot of personal development and self-help books to learn tools and techniques to work through my fears, to empower myself, and to gain the confidence and the trust in myself to find the resources to go after this dream. And so, I learned from that just because we have a lack of resources doesn't mean that they're not available in the world. And I started to find ways to find those resources and the knowledge to have and achieve the dreams that I wanted and the life that I wanted. And so this happened to me again when I came up against, life coach training. When I was in the life coach training environment, I took my first life coach training course, and everyone in the group was older than me. And I remember that I was the only one in the first 30 days that actually had paying clients. And I looked at, and my teacher of the group was always, celebrating me and asking me what I was doing. And I realized that what I was doing differently was I was really passionate about tools and techniques. So I didn't settle for just that one small training program. I was getting NLP training. I was working with Tony Robbins, studying his techniques. I was getting energy healing, learning Reiki training. I was studying the law of attraction. And everything that I was studying was all because I was so passionate about tools and techniques. And I was memorizing them. I was utilizing them in my life first so that I was a breathing, walking example of how these tools and techniques work and change your life and make you a more powerful person. And then I was sharing them excitedly with people when I was prospecting for my coaching business. I was really going out, sharing what I was learning, and teaching them to people, which made them want to sign up with me because I had a lot of knowledge and way more than I could get into one conversation, which made them actually want to invest in themselves and pay for me because I was investing in myself and paying for my training. You see, so I learned you can't be hypocritical in that way. You can't ask people to invest in you if you're not investing in yourself. And then I learned that I learned the secrets to promotion, and I learned the secrets to marketing. And that was what was separating me from these other people that were in my life coach training program. The reason I was getting paying clients, because I was becoming a very confident, masterful coach. I was passionate about the tools and techniques. I was sharing them, and I was really walking my talk. And so because of this success that came into my life, I was featured in a New York Times article. And I thought, this is it. Like, this is the success and the exposure that I've been waiting for in my coaching business. And, this is what's going to actually take me to that level of success. So when the man who was writing the article wanted to write about me, I didn't give him the phone interview. I said, you're going to have to show up for a one-on-one sessions. I'm going to coach you, and I'm going to coach you because the tools and techniques of coaching are what make it powerful, and it's hard to explain that into words until you learn them, and you learn neurolinguistics programming, the neural pathways that keep us in our patterns, the things that challenge us, the stories that we tell ourselves that hold us back. I wanted to show him how coaching worked. And I made him show up to this call with me. So here's the beautiful part about my passion, and how that passion in me was what kept propelling me toward my purpose and my niche in coaching. So I'm connecting the dots for you here. He wrote a beautiful article about me. Little did I know, though, the title of this article, which was on the cover of the Life and Style section of the New York Times, was, "Should a life coach have a life first?" And so it was actually controversial. It was about young people who were making a lot of money in coaching, and it upset a lot of people as well. A lot of therapists who were losing, their clientele because their clients were going to coaching, and they felt threatened by this. And as a result, in my inbox during the week of that article being on the cover of the Times, I received about 100 to 200 hate mail emails a day. And then, so that was about 60% of the response that came from the article. And it was really challenging for me at the time, because my fear was that people wouldn't take me seriously as a coach because I was a young, blonde woman who was leaving acting to become a life coach. And I thought, people won't see my depth. People won't understand the life experience that I do have, what I've seen. And it doesn't matter that I was only 27 years old at the time. What matters is that I have devoted myself, and I'm passionate about this, and I am an expert in this area. And I've done it fast because I've been passionate about it, and because of the life that I've lived so far, even though to some that may have seemed young. But it was my fear, so of course it was reflected back to me out in the world. And so as it was reflected back to me, the other 40% of letters that came in during that time were from women that were saying, "You're really young, you're doing this. This is what I want to do. I believe coaching is my purpose. What can I do?" And this was the turning point in my life where I realized, when they were asking me, where do I get the training to become a life coach? I couldn't find a program that I believed in. I felt that there wasn't a program out there that had the things that I was doing that was making me successful, that other people that were becoming coaches were struggling with. There wasn't a combination of these things in one program. And that is where I realized this is my purpose. My passion is teaching tools and techniques, learning them, becoming a master at them, and teaching other people to do this. even when I had coaching clients, I realized all I wanted to do was teach them the techniques so that they could go use them off on their own. I didn't actually want to keep it a secret what technique I was using. I wanted to teach them the technique, and then I wanted them to teach it to other people. This is how I discovered that my true purpose in life is coaching coaches, and it is running a life coach training program, because I realized that I have a perfect combination of the things it takes to run a six-figure coaching business, to become a confident leader, and to create a lifestyle that you love while running a business. So let me tell you about those 4 themes that I created inside Mentor Masterclass and what they are really quickly. And then you're going to hear from the women inside Mentor Masterclass right now how they've worked for them and what results they're getting by utilizing them. So the first one is walking your talk. Like I said, you've got to take the tools and techniques that you're learning and apply them to yourself first. And that's what we do inside Mentor Masterclass. We first take week 1 of the workbook and focus all of the conversation tools and models like life purpose on you, so that you have made that transformation and got the results from that technique and tool. In week 2, we go into sharing and service. So you have a coaching partner, and you take the tools that you're learning in the workbook and you practice coaching with one another, so that you actually learn them outside of the workbook, so you'll remember them, they'll be embodied, and you practice them on a partner so that you're confident in a coaching session, and so you know how these tools and techniques work. In week 3, we work on promotion. We talk about prospecting. We learn what is your niche, what is your unique business model, and we discover how you can put that together and start to call in paying clients. And then in week 4, we work on marketing or promotion. What is the way that's going to work for you to promote your services and actually call in your dream clients? How can you do this online so you can scale your business so that you can be making money while you're sleeping? Meaning people are buying your products and services and signing up for your programs while you're spending time with your family, enjoying travel, taking the fitness classes that you want, and living a life of freedom. So I'm so excited for you to hear from some of the wisdom inside Mentor Masterclass, so you can see how my finding out my purpose has led me to understanding my niche, and how some of the women are using these themes and focuses each week to build really successful coaching businesses.
I just have one question in this area for you ladies, and maybe an additional one for the graduates. You know, Mentor Masterclass has such a structure. I've created a lot of very intricate themes and focuses and intentions, because I use the actual coaching tools we're learning, I apply those into the foundation of the class. So when we're learning how our brain works and what we need to change our patterns, the course is set up to use those tools for you, almost like hypnosis, where you might not even know that it's what it's doing to you or what you're learning until you actually go through it. So I want to get your perspective on that. There's, you know, this 4-step process that we use in the month, where week 1, we focus on walking our talk and doing the work on ourselves. Week 2, we get to step into a session and coach our partner and use the tools and learn how to do those with a client. Week 3, we focus on prospecting and putting yourself out there and actually bringing in clients. And then in week 4, we work on your marketing and your brand and your online business. So I'm curious, how is this structure for the women inside of Mentor Masterclass? How is this helping you, ladies? Oh, Marjorie, you're muted. There you go.
I must admit that I'm when I'm in it, I don't always get the big picture. However, what I appreciate, just hearing you describe that process, I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's what we do. It's taken me 10 months to figure that out. However, what I love is the practical application, the very first week where it's all about me. And I so am reminded that if I'm going to coach somebody, it's what I'm learning about myself. And if I'm willing to face my own fears or whatever it is, my money block, my worry about my body, whatever it is, how can I possibly lead someone else if I haven't done the work? Mm-hmm. And so in a very natural way, by following your direction and doing the homework and the readings, and then having a chance to practice with my sister coach, and then loving how I can think of women in my life, in my world, that might benefit from this, that either I know or haven't found me yet. And so I think it's crucial. I don't know that there's any other way to do it. How can I possibly teach someone something I haven't learned myself?
Yeah. I agree.
I think that structure just makes us so immersed in the material too that we have no other choice but kind of to take it all on, and really kind of like you said, how maybe we don't even know all the time how much you're putting in there that's really just getting deep into our core. I think it really becomes immersion, but it also is like so well-rounded type of immersion. And coming from, having been in a different program and switching to this program, it was one of the things that I benefited from so extremely, having been in a program that I felt like I was learning material and didn't know what to do with it. With your structure, I'm able to learn the material, take it in, digest it for myself, and then, like you said, practice it with someone else. And then, that I feel comfortable and safe with, like in a sisterhood. And then I can move on and start thinking about outward. And then just to have be acknowledged every month, marketing and the business tactics and how it can apply to what we're studying and specific tactics for maybe what subject we're on. It just really makes it, us have to remember that this business has so many layers, and we are capable of putting our true selves into every one of those layers if we really pay attention to all of it and take the time for each section. So I just really wanted to note how much that structure is so different from anything else I've experienced and is making me feel so confident. And, just the immersion, like I said, it's just, you can't help but just take it on and become this, Yeah.
First of all, I'm happy that you're having that experience, Courtney, because that is what I dreamt up when really creating the structure, because I saw in myself and with so many colleagues and girlfriends that it's so easy to become a program junkie and to keep looking for a program that's going to do the answer for you, and to not actually, you learn so many tools in Mentor Masterclass. I mean, there's thousands over the course of the year that it can be overwhelming, and it would be easy to just put that book in the cupboard and not read it week to week. So I wanted to find a way, how do we learn these tools in a way that we're going to remember them so we're experts? So we have a tool belt that we can pull so many different things to create our one-on-one sessions to use in our programs. You'll probably come back to them too. There's so many. But how do you actually do it without becoming overwhelmed and participate in the program? So when you say immersion, that's what's important to me, because sometimes people buy a program and they never use or get the core things that were there for them, and they don't experience the transformation for themselves or really start their business. So it was like, how do I get you to really do this stuff so you get the results both in yourself and in your business?
Yeah, and I think the way you have it sectioned just does that so beautifully, because it's in small amounts, having each week, every month, it feels tangible. It feels like you can take that on. And then it also is a continuous thing, rather than saying, at the end of the program, then having 3 months on business, that it's kind of a little bit throughout the year, so it stays fresh.
And repeated. So it becomes my hope is that we repeat it so that it becomes just second nature. It becomes a habit, hopefully, by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So thank you, Courtney. Ladies who have graduated, how did that help you get the most out of Mentor Masterclass, looking back on the program, the structure of it?
Yeah, I'll go. The consistency was the biggest piece for me, what you just said, Janine. That was my biggest lesson from Mentor Masterclass. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Because I'm very inconsistent. I want variety, and I want do it my way and be a rebel. And that's not how you grow a business, and that's not how you be a leader. So that was a really great example for you, and I resisted it many times, I feel like. But it was really helpful to always go back to it. Okay, this week is working on myself. Okay, this week we're working on marketing. Okay, I got it. It was really
I love
clear.
that you resisted it so much, and now you're actually a sister guide in the program helping the other women stick to the structure. That's pretty funny. Full circle for you.
It's full circle, yeah.
Anything to add, Jackie?
Yeah, actually, so when I first came to you, I had honestly gone straight from being in pre-K to grad school into being a teacher, so everything was super organized, super academic, super masculine structure. And for me, it was really, right before I knew I wanted to do some sort of one-on-one work with people, and through intuition and signs, somehow I came to coaching, and somehow I came to you. And because I remember that I was like, I don't want to go back to school the same way anymore. I want to explore. And what I love about the structure is that there's still this masculine structure there. Like, so for me, that was really important to know that I had something coming up every week, but there was still this place to explore and to move, and it wasn't so rigid anymore. It was really playful.
Feminine.
Yeah, it was really feminine. It was exactly that. I felt like I needed that structure to know what was coming, but to know that it wasn't so black and white, that there was still room to play. I think that was very important for me to have that each week.
Ladies who've graduated, how have you taken what you learned, walking your talk, using the tools, prospecting, marketing? How have you taken that structure or that cyclical pattern and used that to continue to grow your coaching practice, if you have? Or maybe some of those core themes, have you used any of those with your clients and seen results from that? Like, is there any way that this structure has served your business or the way that you work within your business now that you've graduated?
Yeah, I mean, is it okay if I go first, Michelle? Or do you have something?
Go for it. Yeah, go.
Okay, I'm going for it. So, it's really interesting because the thing about walking your talk first and coming to yourself first before, going out and exploring, and it's kind of like the internal game to the external game, and especially with the programs that I do, it always starts with the internal game. It starts with themselves, because I work with women who are also entrepreneurs now, and a lot of them are not taking themselves to the point where they can grow and expand, and it's affecting their business, and it's affecting the way that they embody their own message. And so starting with them first, I definitely see a difference between, okay, like here's the structure for marketing, or like let's just start here and see if everything else works. There's really this balance between walking your talk, really understanding yourself, being able to bring that out to the world, and then being able to bring out this larger perspective out to everyone. It's almost like I see it as this triangle. And I've definitely learned a lot from your structure and have used it in a way that's worked for me and my clients, for sure.
Beautiful example, Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything to add, Michelle?
Yeah, for me, I wrote down because I didn't want to lose it, but the first walking your talk was what I resisted most, because I always start with things outside of me. That was my pattern. And that's why I always got overwhelmed and burnt out and tired and nothing ever worked. And so that's why I know the first thing I go with my clients is themselves. And the first thing that they come to me is for something outside of themselves. And so that piece, that first piece, is definitely a huge part of the journey that I take my clients on. And to remember how to stay in that myself.
To continue that practice in your life then.
Do you want to become a confident and masterful life coach? Imagine feeling completely supported by a brilliant sisterhood while you launch your dream business and attain financial freedom. Mentor Masterclass is an all-in life coach training program for 40 women who are on a mission to learn from the best. You can join Mentor Masterclass at the beginning of any new month while spaces are available. Head on over to mentormasterclass.com to learn more about the training and apply now.